Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy, and we are here today speaking with Cynthia Peters. She's the editor for The Change Agent, which is a publication of World Education. Cynthia, I wanted to ask you, I meant to ask you early on, the title of the publication that you edit, The Change Agent. What does it mean? What does it mean to you and to the people who submit writings?
Well, to me, what it means is that we're trying to lift up the idea that everybody is an agent of change in this world, or can be. And that can mean a lot of different things. The change can happen on a spectrum of very micro changes, like maybe changing the way you commute to work, or changing your ability to show up on time, or changing something in your diet. It can happen in really big ways, like lobbying for a different kind of a law that is going to make your workplace safer, or make your pay more equitable or more fair, or something like that. So the idea is that everybody can be an agent of change in their own life, in the life of their family, and in the life of their community. And we know that this is true already. We know that our adult learners out there in the world are being agents of change every single day. Many of them went through all sorts of trauma just to even get to this country, to get their families to this country. They survived that. They put kids through college. They did amazing amounts of work. And yet their stories are not always shared as the incredibly powerful and amazing stories of agency that they really are. Mm-hmm. And instead, sometimes, we treat learners like they're the sum of their deficits. This is what you need to work on. This is where you're kind of low in capacity. Let's try to fix that. Let's try to fix this. And we try to show these places where students are already just incredibly powerful and doing amazing things. And if that's our starting place, then it's such a better place to start learning from, because you're starting from a place of strength, right, not from the place of weakness.
You've raised a great point, because I've been guilty of it, and I just think of the adult learners that I have met and the things that I have learned from them. And at the same time, for many of them, their perspective is, I don't read and write well, I'm behind. And just it's a tough place to come from, but they have, just like all the rest of us, everybody has a voice, and you're helping to create that voice. How are you finding your students, or how are they finding you? What are you doing to successfully receive the writings that you do receive?
Oh, so we send out our call for articles. We develop a series of writing prompts, and they're based on the theme that we've chosen, and we send the writing prompts out to programs, and then the programs share it with all their teachers, and the teachers hopefully bring it into the classroom. And many of them do, because I get hundreds of submissions for every issue, and the submissions are really powerful. Sometimes it's a little scary to write about deep stuff, where you really show yourself. And so sometimes I get these pieces that kind of, to be honest, they go on, and they're a little bit boring, because the person is skirting. They're right on the surface of the thing that they want to talk about. But then I'll catch, a sentence or two where I can see where the story is. I can see where the nugget of where their heart is. And so sometimes the way that I get the writing that I want for the magazine is I'll get back to that person and I'll say, hey, here's where your story is. This is what I noticed about your writing. It had a lot of introductory stuff, then it had a lot of, I say this very gently and kindly, of course, but here's this place that you just barely gave us a glimpse of this story. Can you tell this story, or can you add the details that help us see how this happened? And can you explore it more deeply? And if you're willing to go there and really kind of show this part of yourself, we would love to share that with our readers. And sometimes people want to do that, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's a little too much, or it's a little too scary, or they're not quite ready to do that. That's fine. But the pieces that the change agent is going to publish is going to be that kind of piece, the piece where somebody really shares something real about themselves.
You sound like a publisher. You're having this back and forth with your writers, and I didn't know that,
Yeah.
so it's very impressive. And so you're developing a relationship with certain people who are submitting works that are of interest to you, and of course would be interest to other readers. It's quite unique. So you must.
Actually,
Yeah.
if you don't mind me adding right there, what I hear back from people is, "Oh my God, you treated me like a writer." Mm-hmm. That is this huge shift that happens for people. They get taken so seriously as a writer, and not as just an adult ed student who's sort of trying to master the 5-paragraph essay, which, okay, we all, people do need to master that. That's really helpful in this life. Yeah. But, when their experience with me, they get something a little bit different, which is they get this certain kind of attention, which makes them feel like their voice matters, and it helps them, supports them to go after their voice. And that has a profound effect on people. I get letters all the time, and even from prisoners who have written to me things like, not to overstate it, but I mean, this is what I hear, like, you saved my life. I thought I was nobody. I thought I couldn't do anything. I just thought I didn't have a story. I didn't know what my story was. And then I'll just get back to them and say, hey, this sounds like a story you've got here. Can you tell me more about this? And even if I don't publish the piece,
right?
even if it ends up being rejected, they still feel like, wow, somebody really took me seriously. And that makes a big difference for people.
You bet. I mean, just going back, I'm thinking of, being a junior high school student and how much it meant to me back then to have people say, this is good, you need to pursue this, you need to, so at all levels of our lives, at all times, that kind of encouragement is priceless. Tell me about your outreach, or tell our audience about your outreach to prisons.
It's basically through if they have educational programming, then we can get in there. If they don't, it's a lot harder for us to get in there. But I've actually kept up relationships with prisoners who maybe have moved from prison to prison. They don't even have any educational programming anymore, but they still know how to reach me, and they write to me, and they still submit stuff. Unfortunately, educational programming in prisons is kind of hit or miss. And then there's also the issue of, they're limited in what they can bring into the prison classroom. Yes. So that's another hurdle. But I find that the writing that comes in from prisoners has been incredibly powerful. People have written about really hard topics and made themselves really vulnerable through the publication. And it's really powerful reading.
You bet. Yeah. Powerful reading and powerful writing, and just the opportunity to vent and share your story and get some things out. How are educators using the publication and tutors? And if they're not, how can they?
Right? Yeah. So the great thing, so we've kind of covered a lot about how it's great for students because the content is so relevant and inspiring. So, but for teachers, what's there is these ready-to-use lessons, and activities and extensions, so that any single page from the magazine is going to have boxes that take the learning further, that are activities and discussion questions that are aligned to the college and career readiness standards, which is the adult ed version of the Common Core. Teachers in adult ed have been mandated in many states to align their teaching to these standards. And the change agent wants to make it really easy for teachers. We point teachers to which parts of the magazine teach to which standards. We make audio versions of our articles available online, so teachers can get their students, in a computer lab, say, or if you're working one-on-one with a tutor, they can listen to the audio, and the audio is leveled. So we provide a grade level equivalent for all of the writings. Online. We don't put the grade level equivalent in the magazine because I'm not trying to get people to focus on that when they open a magazine. I want them to just have a literacy experience of opening a magazine and noticing where their eye falls, noticing what catches their interest, and letting that lead them.
Right.
not the level. I don't want people thinking, oh, that looks too easy for me, I'm not going to read it, or that's too hard, I should never even try to read that. I just want interest to guide them, but online you can actually see the level of the piece that you're reading or listening to, and you can, the important thing there is there's transparency about where you're at,
Absolutely.
And right, I have, as a teacher myself, I have students who come into my class and they say, well, I want to take your class for maybe 6 months, and then I want to go to college, and I'll test them and I'll learn a little bit about them, and I'll discover they're at a 6th grade reading level maybe.
Yeah.
So I know that it's going to take more than 6 months before they're going to test into college level work. But I want them to know that too, and the transparency is important because not only for that, but then they can also see themselves attain more and more mastery. So you're feeling comfortable at first at a 5th or 6th grade reading level, and you watch yourself improve, and you get that feeling of mastery, and you see how it's connected to work and effort, and that helps you do more work and more effort. And so those are some of the teaching tools that we have available at the Change Agent.
Very good. It's powerful motivation, and for the teachers, of course, and the students and the writers. We have just about 30 seconds left. What can we be doing, Cynthia, as a network of literacy advocates to support your work?
Basically, help us make our megaphone bigger. Help spread the word. The Change Agent is considered the best-kept secret in adult education. It's an incredibly inexpensive resource. It only costs $20 per teacher per year. You can share your access with all your students. Our website is changeagent.nelrc.org, and you could go to our website and subscribe and spread the word. Basically, that's the most important thing, is let people know that this very, very inexpensive resource is available for
Very
people.
good. Thank you so much, Cynthia. We'll have you back sometime. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page, mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com. Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com. Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. MCAULIFFE. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.